So I found out that this death row inmate with no musical training or access to musical instruments wrote this perfectly genius piece that rivals Mozart. Let me explain. The morning I visited Douglas Nadell, a fantastic instrument maker in Philadelphia, I visited the former Eastern State Penitentiary, now an amazing museum. It was firstly fascinating to experience the former prison, but secondly, impressed with all of the different installations that they had by different artists and groups. One of which was an installation done by Mark Mangivar, detailing a composition written by death row inmate David Powell. But this was no ordinary composition, or person for that matter. He was one of the brightest kids in his school, a math genius, skipping a year of high school and becoming valedictorian. But after starting university, he started getting into hard drugs, leading to a downward spiral. Then one night, high on drugs, murdered a police officer. He was then sentenced to death row, and by the time of his execution in 2010, he was the longest prisoner in the US to be on death row. While he was in prison, he continued to keep his mind sharp and read about a Mozart composition duet called Der Spiegel, or The Mirror. Regardless that it sounds fine as a piece of music, it is composed in an absolutely insane way. Okay, this piece is called, and say it with me, a retrograde inversion canon. Yes, as I explain what each of these words mean, you'll realize how insane this piece is. A canon is typically a melody played in imitation. A simple example. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Row your boat merrily down the stream. Merrily, merrily, life is but a dream. The imitation can be delayed, like in that example, or it can be done as inverse, the second voice doing the same melody but backwards. And in this case, additionally, the second voice is reading the music upside down. The retrograde inversion canon is also called a table canon, because two musicians would place the music on the table between them and play it. David Powell decided to play with this idea in mathematics of chance. He flipped a dime several thousand times to determine the rhythm. This is despite the fact that he had no musical training or no access to instruments. And to clarify, he didn't entirely write a new composition, but rather took Mozart's piece and reconfigured the rhythm with chance. He heard his own piece for the first time at an unsuccessful appeals hearing in 1998, when his lawyer brought in a pianist to play his piece for the jury to demonstrate that he had been rehabilitated and still had lots to offer to the world. Anyways, you've been listening to my attempt at playing my own table canon on the spinet made by Douglas. Check out that prison museum if you're ever in Philly, and the ongoing work of Mark Mangivar. Thank you for watching.